We'll just follow on, Kristy, with the Oz's story about the pharmacies enter the jab frontline. On the Australian's front page tomorrow, health officials have approved a nationwide COVID-19 pharmacy vaccination program following outbreaks that have plunged 4 capital cities, and they're saying 11 or 12 million, into lockdown. Going through this story, Kristy, it's interesting. Talking about Anastasia Palaszczuk in here and the lockdown in Queensland, and it details that she said the number of arrivals from overseas needed a massive reduction. I would just like to pause as I read this. There were a few names that popped into my head when she said permission to enter the country should be for genuine hardship reasons. At the moment, there's a large number of exemptions that are being given for people to come here rather than returning Australians. The names Tom Hanks or George Clooney or Julia Roberts mean anything to anyone, Kristy?
Exactly. And the premiers are being very strategic on the one hand, but remember 6 months ago it was the premiers trying to wedge the federal government saying bring Australians home, and as you say, at the same time under the table giving exemptions to people on economic grounds who were celebrities, and I think that they've got to be really careful with this. People do want Australians to come home. I noticed that Daniel Andrews in Victoria has made this call again, and states run hotel quarantine. If they have problems at hotel quarantine and they don't want people to come home, that is a very dangerous political messaging that I think is going to backfire against them, because everybody knows an Australian who's stuck overseas who was faced with the choice of paying $25,000 flights or missing out on the repatriation flights when they open up the booking through DFAT and can't get home. Dangerous and politically not a good message for the premiers to grab hold of.
Kristy, I just want to stay with you for one moment. You and I are in Western Australia, the Perth Peel region shut down, and Tanveer, I'll get your take on this, particularly as a psychiatrist, in a moment. We get a lot of us and them. We get a lot of creation of the other. So people in the Perth Peel region tonight can't go out into the regions. People in the regions don't want people from Perth there, and you are treated as though you are the virus in much the same way as when Melbourne was in lockdown, there was that whole we don't want people from Victoria here. Are you noticing that, Kristy? There's a real, it breeds a real nastiness where we're not all in this together. We feel very, very fragmented at times like this. Have you noticed it?
Of course we do, and people are retreating into their localised community, and it is a bit like, very much as you say, we didn't want people from Victoria here. I still managed to come in. Thank you, Premier Mark, the only good thing you've done this year. But it is about this fear that has been perpetuated in the community, and now we are moving to people who are fully vaccinated and are looking forward to those travel bubble openings, as we keep hearing about it, that towards the end of the year, discussions with Singapore and Malaysia, and saying to their family and their friends, go and get vaccinated, you're holding up my life and you're stopping the economy moving. So we have people in these both camps now pitted against each other around vaccinated and not vaccinated, and people who are from Perth and from down south, who never the twain shall meet. It is really dangerous for society, I think, and communities.